Okay, we're well within our timeline that every entity that had styrofoam should have used all of it. So they are being enforced. The law is being enforced. If they have styrofoam, they'll receive a fine. Okay.
And
So
I gave you guys out these things
phone
before. And I
free.
can bring
Thank you, Robin.
so you can take it with you. You know me. I'm going to tell them. So I'll get some more of these so we can have them in the church.
So
Okay.
the second piece of my presentation is that as the litter reduction program manager, you all, I have a big responsibility for litter in Anacostia and to our communities throughout the county. If you all as a church, as a part of the community are interested in hosting cleanups, either around your church or in a neighborhood where your parishioners are living, please give my office a call. We can help you get set up. I will provide these to you.
Oh, nice.
I want them back.
Of course.
They're labeled, okay? If you want one of these yourself, Home Depot or Lowe's. I want these back, but I will loan them to you. I will provide plastic bags, and as available, I'll have safety vests, but I'll provide a picker, bag, and gloves so your committee can now help pick up litter. We also have a smartphone app called PGC Litter Track that one of your team members will have on their phone, and you'll tell us how many bags you just collected. So if you had students, and if your students were in Prince George's County and they just collected 500 pounds, 20 bags. That's 20 bags of litter. We want you to tell us that you just collected 20 bags of litter. You're gonna take a picture, you're gonna press send. It's really click, 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 send. And it goes on your smartphone. Okay, so I will get Robin all of that information. You all can come to the trainings we have for Clean Sweep or for PGC Litter Track. I know you're in South County and I hear it all the time. I'm gonna address it. South County has a lot of issues. There's a lot of dumping. It's because you all have a lot of roads that aren't well traveled or have lights on them. We've got to be vigilant in keeping our eyes on those dark corners and alerting the county when you're now starting to see illegal dumping. Okay, it's our goal to address all of those issues. We're working really hard with the police department to now have them enforce the $30,000 fines that you see on the signs that you see around the county for illegal dumping. But we need your help with that. Okay, you all have any questions of me? Yes.
Yeah, I had a couple. One, somebody had mentioned diapers and the pads. Now, so is that considered hazardous waste because technically it's human waste?
A diaper?
Yeah.
It's
if
trash.
So it's just regular trash.
It's trash. Yeah, diapers that are on children or even adult diapers are considered trash.
Okay.
Okay? And so those flushable wipes, baby wipes, things like that, put them in the trash. Don't flush them. Save yourself the money of the plumber because it'll get caught up in your system. And Bausch & Lomb or Procter & Gamble is not going to come and fix your plumbing, okay? So do not flush it. If it says flush it, don't flush it. Only thing I will flush is toilet paper.
Right.
Okay? Yes.
And the second thing was you were going to talk to them about why certain paper can be used as compost.
Okay. I'm gonna get back.
The refrigerator filter though.
Ooh, hazardous waste. Yeah, your filters, your air filters, I would take that to hazardous waste.
The refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
So the air conditioning filters too is
Hazardous waste. Yeah, so certain papers are compostable. Well, brown paper bags are closest to their natural state as they've not been bleached. I will put this in compost because it doesn't have all of the chemicals. And again, if you're putting things like your compost on your foods you're planning to eat, I wouldn't put any bleached paper in my compost.
So it's white paper.
So white paper, yeah, green paper, pink paper, colored papers. I wouldn't put that in your recycle bin. So brown paper bags, closest to their natural state, haven't been bleached. You can use that in your compost. There are communities in the county that are participating in a pilot compost program that will eventually be available to all communities in the county. I don't have those. We can get those to you. I know Denise Curry has them. Has she been?
Denise is coming tomorrow.
Good, so she'll talk about it. Ask Denise all of that information about how you can participate in the county's pilot compost program. And that means that we'll come to your home and accept your compost.
Oh, nice, wouldn't that be great?
Okay? So we will be accepting your compost, and our end goal is to offer that to every citizen who receives county trash and recycling to pick up their compost. So that means you're going to eat everything on your plate. You're going to now compost your organics, right? And we'll pick them up from you. All right. Thank you all for having me.
Can you tell us the organization you're from again?
Prince George's County Department of the Environment. I have a couple of cards.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. You are just fabulous. Isn't she wonderful?
Yes.
Thank
She
you.
is.
Her, and I'm telling you, I
and
was
Chandra?
blessed to be able to get Tia and Chandra today.
Yes.
You just don't know. And tomorrow, we have another two of Tia's colleagues from the Department of Environment. One who's going to talk about hazardous waste in particular, and another who's going to talk about the composting tomorrow. And then we have a panel of people who are doing things like dealing with your paint, for example. There's a woman who has started a business, and she collects old paint, and she does all kinds of things, recycle, reuse. I mean, it's just fabulous. So you guys are in for a treat tomorrow. Whoever hasn't signed this form, signed in, please do. I'm gonna pass it around, because I do need everyone to sign in, all of us, okay? Because, you know, this is a grant, and we do want to let them know that we have people come and listen. I'm gonna be really quick. I know you, Tia, you have to leave, and I thank you so much. And give me a hug before you go. And we're gonna work with Tia. We're gonna probably do a cleanup. So I'm gonna reach out to her, and we're gonna do one for the church. My presentation I was gonna do really quickly because, you know, I wanted you guys to hear them. You could hear me anytime. So let me see how I get out of this, and then I find my presentation. And, you know, I'm gonna like really talk about waste really quickly, because I always talk about it. And when, you know, they talked about litter, they talked about what you can do, but what I wanted to talk about was really where's the little clicker thing from? Okay, thank you. What I really wanted to talk about was what happens to our waste and how much waste we produce. And I'm not gonna be that long because I don't have much time. So, how much waste do we produce individually at home? Now, we produce, on average, in the country, 4.4 pounds per person per day, which is a lot. And a lot of that is recycled, or if you do recycle. But it's 230 million tons of waste, and the world generates 2.6 trillion tons of waste. That's a lot of waste per year.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do this? I'm doing it the wrong way. That way? Yeah, that's the way. In Prince George's County, we produced in 2015 municipal solid waste, that's what that is, 816,000 tons in a year. We're actually producing less and less in the sense that we're recycling some, and we're also composting. This county is very interesting. We have a big composting facility out in Upper Marlboro. This is it's really unique in the state. All of the leaves you guys do, there's food scraps that are composted, and as Tia said, eventually, as money gets more and more, we'll be able to compost from our homes, individually. This is exciting. This is because we will use less and less of the landfill, which we're going to talk about real quickly. So what happens to our trash? It either goes to a landfill, an incinerator, or into our waterways, as Sean just said. You know, I'm an EJ person, environmental justice person, so you know I am totally anti-burning, right? Okay, well, why? Because when incinerators are placed, they're usually placed in communities of color, low income and communities of color. And incinerators burn and toxins are emitted, and people who live near incinerators tend to have asthma, other chronic illnesses, as well as cancer and other things. So incinerators are bad. We decided, thank God, Department of Environment decided not to move towards looking at an incinerator, because guess what? The landfill is ultimately going to fill up, right?
Yep.
So we got to do something. So what the county decided to do was look at a zero waste plan, and I'm a part of that task force with the county. So this is Brown Station Road landfill. Now, if any of you, now you might say you don't want to tour it, but I'm going to tell you something. I toured this landfill, and it's very interesting. And in fact, Prince George's County, they basically manage that landfill, and they do a very good job. Very good. I mean, it is extremely interesting, all the precautions and all the things that they do. It's managed very well as landfills go. But that's where a lot of our stuff goes. And as Tia was talking about hazardous waste, if you have hazardous waste, it could go, you could take it there, you could take electronics, you could take appliances. They take a lot of stuff, and you can go on the website and you'll see. Charles County probably has something similar. I'm not sure, but you know, I can check it out. Okay. And as I said, less and less stuff is going to the landfill because we're recycling more. Okay, Prince George's County has one of the highest recycling rates, but not because of residential. They have 65% on something like that, which is a little bit much. I would say closer to 60% recycling rate. But most of that is business. Most of that's not residents. Residents is in the 20s. Residents still don't recycle. We need to do better. Trash incineration, we have 2 incinerators in, 2 trash incinerators, I should say, in the state of Maryland. One is in Baltimore, one is in Dickerson, which is in Montgomery County, both of which the environmental community of which I'm a part, we're trying to shut down, okay? We don't need them. And, you know, what is said is they produce energy. Well, the amount of energy they produce is very little, and, you know, in addition to that, usually they're subsidized because they don't generate, the energy doesn't generate enough to sustain it. And on top of that, it emits toxins. And I don't care how much emission control it has, it still emits toxins. And most of these facilities violate all kinds of emission control rules anyway, and laws anyway, and they're fined all the time. So we don't need any more of that, and thank God, you know, Prince George's County was looking at various things, and you know, I worked with various community members as well as the Department of Environment, and they decided not to do it. And that they decided not to even consider burning, and that's a good thing. These are some of the names that they call this incinerator. If you hear it, they call it waste to energy. Well, we call it energy from, actually a waste of energy. Energy from waste, all of these things, biomass. When you hear these, that's an incinerator. That's what it is, okay?
Biomass. That doesn't sound like an incinerator.
Well,
I'm saying they purposely did that so we wouldn't know.
Yes, exactly. Right. They're all burning and emitting toxins into the air. Waste in the ocean. Chandra told you about the waterways. Well, we got a lot of waste in the ocean, man. And it's really, I didn't even want to show you some of the pictures that were just heartbreaking. Some of the animals that eat the waste, and it's just really, it's heartbreaking. It really is.
And it's the Great Garbage Patch, which is the size of Texas.
Wow.
It's out in the,
I saw that on
in the
the public
Pacific
channel.
Ocean.
Yeah, I
HBO.
couldn't get a picture of that. I should, because I didn't know that was the name of it.
Yeah. it's
But
called
I wanted to
the
show
Garbage
you.
Patch.
It's terrible. But where do you think it goes? If we don't do what Tia showed us, then we're just producing more and more waste, and it just goes somewhere. It's either going to get burned, it's either going to go into the landfill, or it's either going to go into our water. We don't shoot it into space, you know. So hey, we got to do something. This is God's planet. We can't just let it go. So waste reduction or diversion, I work on a lot of those issues, waste reduction and diversion. There's what we call a zero waste hierarchy. I'm not going to go into this in detail, but basically it's kind of how do we get to no waste? Zero waste doesn't mean zero waste, although Tia got zero waste. You know, it means as least amount of waste as you could possibly get to. And some countries actually look at going down to as low as 5%, if not lower. Okay? Now, some countries say they're zero waste and they burn. They do waste to energy. So I don't consider that zero waste. I consider that burning. Okay? Zero waste is when you divert it and you don't do anything that is toxic to the environment. Okay? So there's a whole hierarchy, and we need manufacturers to produce products that are not things that have to be thrown away. We're a disposable society. We throw everything away. I mean, it's normal for us to, you know, just buy it, throw it away. I'm guilty of it.
3 times, you know, like the grocery bag, use them inside your trash can bag.
Well, you know, it's funny because when I was a kid, my mother used, I don't know about y'all mothers, but my mother used everything 50 times until it just died and said, no more. I mean, really, and in terms of the eggshells and stuff like that, I didn't know that was composting when my mother would put that in her garden. So, you know, we got to go back to the old ways.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them.
Okay, I'm talking about good old ways, okay? I mean, come on, guys. Let's keep it positive here. Okay. But anyway, so, and reusing things, as I said, recycling, a lot of the stuff that, you know, Adora's table, a lot of these tables here have reused stuff that's repurposed. So please, you know, start looking at your stuff like that. And composting, we talked about all of this stuff. Just so you know, I'm not going to get into this. There was a waste characterization study in which they actually looked at the waste going to the landfill and looked at each piece and characterized it. You know, they'd have to pay me a lot to do that. But anyway, somebody did it and got paid. So this is kind of what they found in the landfill. So of all of the stuff that's in the landfill, approximately 75% almost can be diverted from the landfill. So that would extend the life of the landfill, and then the stuff that goes in the landfill needs to be stabilized so that it doesn't seep into our ground and then into our waterways and then into our environment. Okay. So Prince George's County started a zero waste planning process. They had a couple of meetings last year. I'm a part of the task force. We're about to introduce a plan which talks about ways the county can implement zero waste, meaning how we can help people reduce waste. First is education, like this. That's number one. Then second is kind of implementation and the county providing tools. Okay, so this is, this pictures I took. These are my pictures of the material recovery facility. That's called a MRF, and that is where they recycle. It's on Central Avenue, Ritchie Road. I think it's Ritchie Road. They take all your recycled stuff and they separate it, and they make money from it. You see those barrel, what do you call them, bushels? Aluminum, they make the most money from. They sell this stuff on the market, and that whole facility cost about $6 million, and they break even. So we're going to talk tomorrow with some people about doing some stuff, entrepreneurial things, so you can look at possibly making money on some of the recycle or repurpose things. Okay, so the compost facility I told you about, the Prince George's County Compost Facility, they sell their leaf grow. They sell this product. It's a fertilizer. They sell it. They take your leaves and all your stuff, and they take food scraps, and that's I think that's called like gold leaf grow. The food scraps is even better. It's richer for fertilizer. And they compost and they sell it. So these are money making things. We talked about reducing your use of plastic. There's all kinds of things you could do with reuse broken items. I got so many broken items. So just wanted to say there are all kinds of opportunities. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that is my presentation in a nutshell. So please, thank you all for coming. Please sign in. Don't forget to sign in. Everybody, I need every name I can get. Also, come see me if you have any questions, but please look at the vendors and walk around and network and talk and all of that other good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Christmas music.